Hey, it's Sarah, and today I want to give you the lowdown on how to start your very own bilingual speech therapy evaluation business. So, just so you know, I am a bilingual speech pathologist. I speak fluent Spanish, and I've spent my entire career working with students that are Latino. And one thing that I've done as I've moved into teletherapy is I've left a day open in my calendar, usually a Friday, where I provide evaluations of students who speak Spanish to districts that either one, don't have a speech pathologist who speaks Spanish, two, have a shortage of speech pathologists that speak Spanish, or three, have a maternity leave where they need somebody to come in and do evaluations. Now, I've gotten a lot of responses on Instagram actually saying this is an area that people would like to know how to do. And I just wanted to share how I started. So the first thing you need to do is get a website. Now, it doesn't have to be like a super crazy website where you have to do a lot of coding, and getting a basic website is not hard, and there are many different services that you can do this for free or a low cost. So I know that there's a site called Wix. I do think that you have to pay for that. Squarespace is another great site. Also, you have to pay for it. But I know for Squarespace, I think it's like $12 a month. Don't quote me on that. It's certainly something you can afford. So, especially if you're willing to invest in a website. I do WordPress. It is self-hosted. It is expensive. I do a lot of other things on that platform, so that's something for you to consider. But even Blogger, and that would be a great place to start for a free website. Now, another tip I have for you is to make sure you are registered both at speechbuddies.com, where you can register and actually put in your kind of geographical location so people can look you up. I've gotten several different emails from people for private client work, not for evaluations, but it's good to have your name out there. And then also make sure you are registered on ASHA if you want to be found for private work. Anyway, so after you've got a website going, don't be shy about telling people that you went to grad school with or on Facebook announcing it. Think about telling them that you're available for bilingual speech evaluations, because they may or may not find you through the website, and just having that out there I think is a great way to launch. What I mean is that they will find you on the website eventually, but when you first launch, you want to be really out there with hey, I'm available, and I really want to really get this going. So a tip about SEO, search engine optimization. When you launch your website, make sure that you have in there, it can be a really static website. You don't have to keep blogging frequently. You can just make sure you say, for example, your city name and bilingual speech therapy evaluations, because that's what people are going to Google. They're not going to just Google bilingual speech therapy evaluation. You want to be really specific about where you live and what you offer. So it's called long tail search words, something to that effect. Long tail is in there. And that goes back to the fact that those are what Google really likes. They like a nice long description with a lot of words, and especially a geographic location, especially for the work you want to do being a bilingual evaluator. Now, the best community to live in to do this would be a community that doesn't have a lot of bilingual speech pathologists and is kind of in a major metropolitan area. The suburbs of Chicago, where I live, it's great. There are a lot of bilingual speakers, and there's not a lot of people who are bilingual speech pathologists. So for me, this works really well. Another question I get is, do you need to have a lot of your own tests? Actually, some districts will provide you with testing materials because they want to have more of a standard administration of the tests. And what I mean is that at one of the districts I work for, they want me to administer certain tests in Spanish, and I'm totally up for doing that. It saves me the expense of buying the test, and they get the information they want. They don't really want you to, at least at this specific district, they don't want me to like hunt and peck and come up with some kind of random different like subtests. They've told me exactly what they want, and I'm able to deliver on that. So that's actually a selling point, I would say. So if you feel like, woo, that is some brights. So you might think that, hey, it's kind of a bad idea that I don't have my own tests and I can't do that. But actually, especially when you're starting out, I don't think it's half bad to use the assessments that they have if they have them. If they don't, there are, if you're committing to do this, it's okay to invest in a set of bilingual assessments, and then you can have them forever. So that is also not a bad thing. I was also going to say, one way that I tried to get my name out there that didn't work was the state I live in, their newsletter for speech pathologists. I sent out, or I paid for an advertisement to be in their newsletter, and I got 0 leads. So that was literally like taking $50 and just throwing it away. This varies, and my state that I live in, they have updated their newsletter, so it could be more advantageous for me to try again. But yeah, consider who you want to know that you are available for evaluations. And what I would say is, one way is to contact special ed directors. They are really going to be the people that pay you. And so getting in touch with special ed directors or speech managers would be a great way to let them know that, hey, you're available. Not only could you do evaluations for a person that's out, but you could also help out and give relief to an overworked bilingual speech pathologist who's doing an insane amount of evaluations. I did 85 in 1 year when I was at Chicago Public Schools, and it was really, really stressful. And I was pulled off my caseload to go do it, and if I really would have appreciated more help. And anyway, yeah, so once you start this, I think you'll find it's really great. I love doing bilingual evaluations. I think they're fun. I like it when they set a kid in front of me that's a puzzle, and I get to tell them, all different kinds of things, whether it's a kid I can say, hey, this kid has great Spanish. They're in the average range. There's no issue here, and I'm sorry that they're having trouble in class, but they're just learning English. They actually have intact communication skills. Those are really great assessments. And then other times I can say they've reached their goals or what have you, depending on, every case is different, and it's really just one of those things that I really, really love doing. And just so you know, it is kind of a seasonal business in that the spring, you will be so busy with evaluations. Like, it's crazy how many evaluations I complete in the spring. In the fall, it's not quite as busy. In fact, I can go like a month without getting a call about having to do an evaluation. So keep that in mind. It really is a seasonal business. And now I'm going to sign off because the sun is awful. But if you have any questions for me about doing bilingual speech evaluations, please drop me a note, and I will catch you later.